adventures.
Greetings all, it's Chuke here from Chuke's Outdoor Adventures. Well, a sad story came out in the news in the last 24 hours, and that is a man was killed by a brown bear. One of the stories said Sitka, Alaska. Another story said it was that area on Baranof Island. But it's interesting because this is very close, roughly 50 miles in some parts from Admiralty Island, where a mauling happened just a couple weeks ago. We featured that on this channel. I had talked about my hunts there. Same area, just these islands covered with deer. The brown bear there are very big. Now, this is what is called the panhandle of Alaska. So if Alaska is the shape of the thumb, it's that area down by British Columbia, the southern part of Alaska. So in this story, the hunter's body was identified as 50-year-old Tad Fujioka of Sitka. He was reported missing to troopers Tuesday night during a deer hunting trip. Troopers said in the dispatch investigation revealed he was likely the victim of a fatal bear mauling. So other stories said that they found he had killed a deer, and then they found his remains, and it looked as well, they know that the brown bear or bears took the deer, killed him. I don't know if they fed on him or not. I don't think so. Sometimes they do that. But it's interesting because some of the stories, they always say this. On all of these stories, we've just had this crazy slew of bear attacks. Unfortunately, there have been a few fatalities this year, North America region, and all the stories say that the bear attacks and bear killing, bear killing a person is very rare. Another story says, oh, it usually happens, once a year or less, sometimes not every other year, but this year has just been crazy. I mean, I've been doing these stories every Thursday or every Friday, and literally every week I've got a new one. Somebody attacked. This time somebody was killed. Now, there's a lot to unpack here. He was a hunter. He had a rifle at least. Who knows if he had a pistol? But as I've been saying, I don't think I want to hunt alone anymore. I've been guilty of doing that. I'm a lot quieter. I seem to be more successful when I'm by myself. But it's terrifying in bear country. All these stories, the last week's story and before that, these guys saved each other because they were hunting in a group. They were all armed, and if you're by yourself, and I talked about how these bears attack. They'll get downwind of you and come at you from the side, running at 35, 40 miles an hour, crushing through trees, and they just kill you. And, it's a really sad story. This happened, and I don't think it's a conspiracy when, the authorities say, well, these types of attacks are very rare. They're actually not that rare. They happen a lot. I believe a lot of them don't get reported, but it's fair of them to say that because they don't want everybody to just be, on pins and needles like me out in the woods, being jumpy. So, they don't want people to freak out or the public they're not going to tell us, oh, bear attacks happen all the time. So they always say that it's very rare. I don't agree with that. I don't think that bear attacks are rare. I mean, they're sure popping up a lot this fall. And the whole deal with the Yellowstone bears is just awful. There's, a bunch of leftists just, advocating for no hunting, and they're just spreading and attacking humans. They're attacking and maiming these elk hunters down there, and it's just awful situation. I think they need to open some hunts down there, but the authorities do not want that for some reason. So another thing that comes up that makes me mad is, boy, this went all over the Associated Press. So a lot of people sent this story in to me about the Sitka man that was killed. I appreciate that. I wouldn't have known about it if everybody wouldn't have emailed me. But even the New York Times did a story on it. And then at the end, somebody down there, I don't know if it was troopers or somebody, they started talking about tips to stay safe in bear country. And this is what really aggravates me. Tips include staying calm during a bear encounter and having a deterrent ready, like a bear spray. And nothing, they don't want to mention firearms. I get it, it's the mainstream media. They're very left-leaning. I don't believe they want anybody to have firearms. God forbid, if you could save your own life with a firearm against a deadly predator, they don't want us to have that, so all they talk about is bear spray. Last week, we talked about that horrible study out of Utah that said bear spray was better. If you look at ammo.com study with Dean Weingarten, you'll see handguns. Yes, believe it or not, handguns have actually been proven to be very helpful and a huge deterrent, way more than bear spray. I am not against bear spray. I do carry it at times, but always both. You want bear spray. Am I flagging myself again? You want bear spray and a firearm. And I do go back and forth. You know, I've got the good old trusty Glock 20 10mm, an amazing pistol, Gen 4, Gen 5. I like them both. And I've been leaning more towards a Springfield XDM. These things are just solid. They don't jam. They handle the 220 grain hard cast. Whatever you throw at it, these things are just solid. One extra round in the magazine than the Glock. But a couple weeks ago, I did the story of the guy shooting the brown bear in the neck and then the head, and he had a 454. And so I've got the Ruger Toklat. This is an iconic pistol that Ruger basically designed for Alaskans to protect themselves against brown bear. The reason I go back and forth is because I can't get as many shots of this out, but the 10mm are way underpowered when you compare it to something like this. A middle ground is the 460 Roland semi-auto. I will use that sometimes, but somebody commented a couple weeks back, "Oh, Chuke, you keep saying that there's this conspiracy where, you know, they're saying don't use firearms. What's your source?" There's no source. The source is literally every article that I list. Every article almost that I list, I always put it up and I have it scrolling. At the end, they always, just like this New York Times article, that's my source. They say, "Oh, you know, during bear encounters, stay safe and have a bear deterrent ready, like a bear spray." I even got this bear book. I'll do a video on it. That's all about protection. There's not a word. It's like a 60-page book about how to protect yourself in bear country. There's like a little mention of bear spray, and it's all about acting big and waving your arms, not a mention of handguns. And it's really starting to irritate me because I really feel like it's this narrative that they don't want anybody to be a free populace and to have firearms. And so they're saying even encouraging hunters, like the Fish and Game version that they have in Wyoming and Montana, are encouraging hunters to carry bear spray, not even mentioning their firearms that they may be hunting with. So it's just insane. I don't get it, and I wouldn't be doing these videos if they wouldn't be putting this BS time after time every week in these articles. It's incessant. It's crazy. I can't believe they keep pushing this narrative of bear spray over firearms, where the studies show that many times, and the people who have said several times this fall in their attacks, "Oh yeah, if it had been bear spray, it wouldn't have worked." One account, they actually did use bear spray and the wind blew and it just got in their face and it just messed everything up. They took the bear out with their firearms. So that's all I got to say. It's a sad story. I would be interested to see what kind of rifle he had, if he had a sidearm, what happened. But the take home is carry a firearm with you, even if it's just your hunting rifle. Have it at the ready and don't go alone. Don't hunt alone. These people have been attacked by bears who want to take the meat away from them. And if you're alone, sometimes there's just nothing you can do. The bears are just too fast. You'll be lucky to get 1 or 2 shots off sometime. You're still going to get wounded. Even if you kill the bear, it takes a while for them to die sometimes. So hunt with a partner. And thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll have another video out in the morning. Chuke, your friend in the field.
My name is Chuke. I like to trade my guns just for fun, but now I have none. Oh, look, get shot by a bear, but I don't care. I got a 10mm. Chuke's Outdoor Adventures. Watch you gonna die every time.